just having our chats.
Yeah.
What did you actually want to
recording or whatever?
Yeah, I'll send you the recording. Well, what did you actually want to make an episode about?
So I remember us constantly having this debate, right, over the topic of, you watched me just try to like struggle and grind, almost like either trying to walk through quicksand or run through mud, as the mentality of you have to struggle to grow, right? You have to have your growing pains in life. And the one thing that you always would tell me, almost like just pleading with me, be like, no, you don't have to struggle. You don't have to go through all this bullshit. There's an easier way. And in my mentality, I don't know if it's just stubborn ass or if, a lot of other guys think like this, is like, no, we have to go through the shit in order to, get the most out of it, to be able to actually appreciate where we're coming into, to be able to, get a calloused, not only skin, but mind and heart and body and soul. So I was just kind of almost not rehab that discussion, but almost kind of go back to it after we had gone through so much bullshit. It seemed like both you and I, and kind of see where we lie on this in terms of struggling to grow, whereas, always trying to find the easiest or most optimal way, basically to achieve the same result.
Well, yeah, I'm curious to know what your perspective is now that you've gone through this last 6 months of turmoil, right? Because I'm still of that opinion that you don't have, I mean, there's a difference between struggling through growth and like suffering, right? Because you're much younger than I am. So when you're young, I think you do struggle up to a certain point because you're just trying to figure out the world and understand these concepts. And like, you can be an old soul, but still you're having this human experience where you're learning these things, right? So I think though you get to a point in your experience where you're like, okay, I've learned enough lessons that I don't need to keep relearning lessons and I don't need to keep suffering. And exactly like what you just told me, I am becoming aware of the red flags and the boundaries. And that is a way of avoiding suffering, right? Like you don't need to continually suffer. You don't. And so like you just apply that mentality to everything you do, and life, when in alignment, becomes very easy. I still stand by this.
So I will agree with you on this. Is like, you don't need to continually put yourself through suffering, because I agree in the sense of struggle and suffering are different. I feel like if you're consistently putting yourself through suffering, it's almost the definition of insanity. You're doing the same thing over and over and over again, expecting a different result. So you're right. You don't need to suffer. I do believe that you need to struggle. So that's where I kind of lie. I think with the whole idea of suffering is when you take the struggle and you allow yourself to get emotional about it. The whole idea of like when you're struggling and then you take that and you turn it into suffering, that's when you're getting too into your head about it. That's when you go from more of a, I want to say optimistic, but more of a realistic mindset to more of a pessimistic mindset. You take your struggle, which you can use to grow and benefit and learn from, and taking that and turning it into a woe is me. Why is this happening? Instead of realizing that, okay, X, Y, and Z are happening. Here's what I can take from it. Here's what I can grow from it. Here's what I can use moving forward. So that's I think that shift, right? Where I get it. It's realized it's okay. Yes, I may be suffering because there is emotional ties and there is a, almost like a traumatic experience kind of tied into everything, but allow myself to feel through those emotions, but understand that those emotions shouldn't identify you, right? Just kind of let them flow, feel through that moment, and then kind of get back to reality a little bit and understand, okay, life is not all nihilism, right? Why bother? Why is this? Nothing else matters. And what's the point of us even being here? Right.
Well, and then so how I think I'm picturing this now is like 3 levels, like the suffering, the struggling, and then not. It's just like a different plane of thinking, because you can, when you're just, I don't want to say elevated because it doesn't encapsulate how I feel about it, but it's like the way that you look at it is like you can go through hard things in your life or struggles might come up, but you're just not You're just not struggling. Like you just don't partner with the idea of struggle. Like I just don't partner with the idea of suffering or struggling or being in intense amounts of pain anymore. Like I went through a painful experience, but at the same time, I was asking myself, does this have to be painful? What if it could be easy? What if it could be joyful? And I just detach, like not like I detach from pain, like I can't experience it, but I just try to picture things differently because I think a lot of what we get in life is, oh, you're going through a breakup. Oh, you're so heartbroken. Or, like we attach certain emotions to certain events. So we think that we should feel that way. When really, I just think that you can choose the direction that you want your energy to flow to. And even if I feel pain in moments, just a completely different experience than if I attach myself to the idea that I must struggle in life. Like I just don't, I just don't see it as true. And that's not to say I don't challenge myself. It's just saying like, why should I struggle? I'm going to challenge myself every day and push myself beyond the limits of, or have coaches push me beyond the limits of which I think I'm capable of, because you can't really do it yourself, but I'm not going to struggle or suffer. I'm going to be challenged, probably hate it. But you keep going on.
So I want to challenge that just a little bit, especially just with the way that you worded it.
Okay.
Right? Because you talked about you went through this, and now after the fact, it's.
I mean, it's still during. It's still
right.
during.
So, no, right, exactly. So it's like you were talking about how your reflection of after the fact, how you're choosing. I'm not going to let the struggle or the suffer, whatever. I'm going to choose to be at peace in that light of this whole situation. But during this situation, you weren't planning to struggle, and I'm sure you suffered a little bit because again, emotional ties kind of flow back and forth with everything. But I'm sure during it, you were struggling off and on during that experience, which led to growth because after the fact, it's no longer a struggle because you had adapted to that struggle. So now you came out stronger with lessons and more just mental fortitude of it.
Right.
But during it, you were struggling. You didn't plan to struggle.
There's no doubt that struggling creates growth, but do you have to struggle to get that growth? I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think you do. Not for all things. I think it might be a byproduct of our actions and our patterns. And then at that point, you might have to struggle because you haven't learned the freaking lesson yet, or you haven't figured out how to do the thing yet. But I don't know. I think we're thinking the same things, just in different contexts. I think we're always thinking
I can
the
kind of
same
pick up what you're
things.
putting down. Because you're right. It's definitely not all things, but I do feel like it's a lot of things. I guess a good analogy would be like mom and dad, and the kid is staring at the stove with the burning fire. The mom, before the kid even touches the stove, or before the kid even touches the fire, looks at him and goes, "Don't touch it. That's hot." The dad's gonna sit there and wait for the little fucker to take his hand and go, "Shit, that's hot." Dad looks at the kid and go, "Yep, bet you won't do that again." Who had the greater lesson? The one who never had to experience it, or the one that actually had to go through it and experience it?
I mean, but it's just a different type of example or lifestyle. What is the correct way to live life? How can you actually determine that? Right? Because you're determining who had the greater lesson, but who cares what the lesson is if the person is happy either way? Why does it matter?
Okay.
Why are we measuring the quality of our life based upon the struggles or lessons that we have and not just the quality of our life? Like it doesn't really matter at the end of the day if the end result is what you want.
So I wouldn't necessarily identify it as quality of life, right? Because quality of life comes from internal. Only you would be able to dictate your own quality of life because it's.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So why does it even matter if we're having this conversation?
So I would just associate
like, what is the purpose? What is the purpose?
So I would guess I would just say the purpose is the idea of the distribution of experience and knowledge. And I say that with the idea of the mom had to tell the kid not to touch the flame because before the kid, she had figured out that the flame was hot. So she's able to pass on that knowledge from experience to the kid so that he may not have to experience the same thing. So I guess the value in this, I guess, is to basically say, one, you'll be able to show more empathy toward other people if you have gone through similar things and have gone through that similar struggle, to be able to relate and, you know, have that, I won't say communion, but, you know, that level of relationship with someone else having gone through similar experiences. And then also the distribution of knowledge, because what is knowledge if it is not shared? But in order to acquire knowledge, you have to get it from somewhere, right? Taught, experience, whatever. But in order for it to be taught, it had to be experienced. It had to be figured out.
But why do
So-
your experiences that you learn things from have to be suffering? Because with that logic, it's like everybody should become an alcoholic or a drug addict or get an
Well-
STD or get pregnant or, you know, like it just doesn't make any sense. And like if I see someone who's 16 years old get pregnant, I'm like, damn, they live not a life that I want to live. I'm probably going to try to avoid that. Like that's not something I need to suffer through an experience just so I can have this shared knowledge of things.
Well, right. And that's why it is going to be different for everyone. No one ever said you had to go through everything in order to, you know, get the full human experience or whatever you might call it. But it is.
So then why don't we
I guess-
reframe it of like, sorry, you go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well, I'm just saying like, maybe this is where we can both like bring our forks to the road is like maybe reframing it as you have to go through your own struggle in order to, because everybody's going to have different experiences. And if you're going through a struggle, if you are going through a struggle, like you have to go through that struggle. That struggle was meant for you, right? And utilizing it as your, you know, like, because all pain is a point of light, right? You go through it and then you are stronger and you do have that experience. But it's not to say that we seek out experiences through struggle and pain. It's just seek out your path of alignment, and whatever struggle comes to you is what you're meant to grow through and go through.
I always get calls all the time. I don't get it. I'll edit that out. That was a good stopping point. But no, I kind of definitely agree with what you're saying, that, you know, we each have our own individuality in terms of our own struggle, whatever. And then I guess my whole mentality with it is, I think a big reason why I guess this whole generation is slowly becoming softer and softer is because we're getting so geared more towards the avoiding of fear, the avoiding of struggle, the avoiding of uncomfortability. We just want to be comfortable and sit on our couch and have, you know, all these conveniences or whatever. So a struggle doesn't necessarily have to be, you know, when I went through boot camp in the Marine Corps, right? Going out of my way and putting myself through 3 months of what the fuck, you know, a struggle for, you know, an everyday life could simply be just making that choice of, okay, instead of getting my groceries delivered, I'm actually going to get my ass up, go to the grocery store, maybe not park right in front of the door, maybe park a little bit back, walk my happy ass the extra 2 minutes, and, you know, just slowly, just little conditioning, just here and there to take you out of that comfort zone. And I think that was the point that, you know, I was always trying to get at, is like, I was always trying to put myself outside of my own comfortable zone, comfort zone, in order to force myself into growth. But in order to do so and doing things that are out of my comfort zone, it might be a little uncomfortable. It's going to be an internal or an external struggle, depending on what it is. Either way, just because I'm doing something out of my norm.
Right.
Does that make sense? Kind of.
Yeah, and I think this is just where we agree and we just use different terminology, because I agree that like people just don't challenge themselves and nobody's challenging them. I've just got done listening to this amazing audiobook called like 10 Steps to Resilience for Families, by I think Joe DeCina or something like that. I'll have to look it up, but amazing book about, he's the guy who created the Spartan races. And
really?
yeah, and so he
Holy
talks
crap.
about how families are becoming soft, and it's not children that are soft, it's the parents, right? The parents are teaching the children and making so many excuses so that they don't have to struggle and they don't have to go to school sick. You know, like we used to go to school no matter what. Like you, well, not we, because you're a totally different generation than me, but me being
You aren't
so
that much
old,
older than me, though. You say it
so
like you're
old.
sitting there with gray
Yeah,
hair
but
and a retirement plan.
yeah, but it's a different generation. It's like 5 years difference, 6 years difference.
That's not really an entirely different
It
generation. My
is.
buddy
It's so
Doug is
different.
36. That's a different
Yeah,
generation.
but I'm just saying, like we had to go to school no matter what, and like the rules were just different. Still, even like with 5 years difference is different. So like parents now are kind of like our generation as like already parents. You're a parent, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, but it's just different. You see the teachers are different, and it's like the political correctness is different, and like you can't say certain things, but it also just makes people super cautious, super safe, super like not wanting to go and do.
Right. I don't know if you've noticed this, but it's almost like just an exponential growth with all of this, because it was like nothing, 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 a little bit, and then just out of nowhere, it's like everything. Everything is just trigger, PC, can't say this,
Yeah.
can't do that. Coddle, 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 coddle.
Yeah.
What the fuck good is that gonna do anybody?
Yeah. There are so many labels and things that we need to work. It's meant to be inclusive, but it really just isolates everybody.
Well, because I think it's like an oxymoron, pretty much. They went for all inclusive, right? By giving everyone their own label, not realizing that it's the very labels in itself that separates everybody.
Yeah.
What? That it doesn't make any sense. You're
It's
gonna
saying
mix the bananas with apples and try to call them the same thing, but you're still gonna be able to call the banana a banana and an apple an apple.
Yeah, and the effort is to not see the differences between people, but yet you're forcing people to acknowledge the differences. It's very odd.
Right. And I think
I need you to treat blue the same as green, but make sure you don't. It's
right.
like, what do you mean? What do I do
Right.
then? And so everybody just stays silent about it, unlike we are during this podcast.
Well, that's besides the point. I mean, these are the things that I think people, they want to say, but I think they're just too afraid to say, just because of the social ridicule that will come down on them. And again, I guess this is everyone's internal struggle. And I made a video about this the other day. Is I think one of the biggest reasons why, especially in Western culture, everything is just slowly getting more and more fucked up, is because guys pretty much took the fucking back seat. They basically, before it was, we stood up for what was right. People actually stood their ground. Oh, I offended you. Sorry, I don't give a fuck. This is what is right. I think too many, over time, it's just been beaten down and butchered to the point where not only do they not want to stand up for what is right, they won't even fucking open up their fucking mouths, because you know what? Not even worth the fight. I know the moment, especially as a straight white male, like the moment I open up my mouth about any sort of certain opinions, I'll get told to, well, I'm sorry, as they would call it, a cisgendered straight white male.
Cisgendered straight. What does cis even mean?
Apparently it means I identify as a male and I was born a male. I don't know why that had to be a label, but I got called that last year and I had to look it up.
I don't know why.
Because someone commented saying,
what is it for females? Am I a cis white female?
Yes. Yeah.
So
that's
weird.
What you'd be called. I don't know. I had to look it up because someone called me that and said I didn't have an opinion on something. I'm like, I don't even know what that means. But it blows my mind. We're fucking human.
Sorry, I didn't mean to take you off track there, but
no, you're good. You're good. I just wish people would understand is like, yes, we want to put labels on fucking every nickel, diamond, penny, not realizing that it shouldn't matter what the fuck you are, who you come from, where you identify as, what anything part of your background. In my eyes, you're either a good person or an asshole. There's really no in between. I either fuck with you or I don't.
Fair enough.
I really don't know how it's that hard just to fucking do.
Well, as Joe Rogan would say, people need something to be recreationally angry about. And that's why so many social justice warriors came out during the pandemic. And this is like, we're just bringing up all the political shit in this podcast.
Oh, fuck it. Because I think we pretty much, I was expecting a long discussion or whatever on the first one, because I didn't think we were just going to like hit the nail on the head and agree and sort everything out.
Thought we were just gonna argue forever or what? We've grown.
I mean, that's what we kind of used to do until we both realized we were talking about the same shit, just speaking two different languages.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, I mean, I think you're absolutely right. Because I think when people got taken out of their norm, right? When everything kind of went down and everything just kind of went out the fucking window right into left field, especially with this newer generation coming up. And this whole idea of, this selfie and me and social media and this instant gratification shit. And I'm special because mommy and daddy said so. And I got a trophy for being in 18th place. Like, they lost their own sense of identity. And again, kind of like what you said earlier, I blame the parents for not showing them how to be their own fucking person and coddling them in the way that they did. So their own sense of personal identity isn't really them. It's the idea, it's the ideology, it's the movement. That's why you have people that are part of like the LGBT community. They don't have anything. I'm not saying all, let me correct myself. Not all of them, but there's quite a few of them that have nothing else to their personality besides being gay or trans or whatever. Like, that's their entire being. Well, so it seems like whenever you question any part of the idea, the movement, the ideology, the reason why they attack in the way they do is because they almost feel personally threatened because you're threatening their being, because their being is that idea.
No, I love that you said that, because I was going to say something in addition to that. How we now have soft parents, quote unquote, because I think we were raised by a generation of, people who went through a lot of abuse because they went through a lot of trauma just because of the world wars. And, so they, the punishment for children to get them in line was to smack them, right? Like they used abuse and it was okay. But that generation is the next generation who raised the parents now. And the movement now is talking about trauma and how that really has an effect on people. But exactly like you said, we can get into this cycle where once we identify something about ourselves, oh, I've gone through abuse and a trauma and I have this attachment style, all of a sudden, instead of working through that, we attach ourselves to that label and that becomes our story, our new identity. So it's not just, yeah, I experienced that and this is what I'm doing now, like making it something of the past, because this is my identity and this is who I am. And this is why you can't talk to me like this because I'm like this. It's like, that doesn't make any sense to do. Yeah. Why would you want to continue that story on? Like, we've all gone through very, very hard things, but like, I don't want that to be my identity. I never talk about my story on my podcast because it's so irrelevant, like you just, I am what I am now. And like, let's move forward. And also I love everybody. Like, I love LGBT, I love trans people, but also I don't give a shit. Like, I don't care what your sexuality is. Like, listen, I don't care about my sex talking about it. Like, who cares? I know nobody cares who I like to screw. It's not any of their business. So it's like, why would you make that your identity? I don't get it. You have so much more potential and abilities. And I think that people think that they don't.
Well, you want to know why? Is they've attached like almost a negative connotation of their identity and they get so heated and quick fired and whatever about it. What gets the most attention on mainstream media or social media? All victim. The negative shit, all this victim mentality. So whether they wanted to or not, subconsciously it was, oh, if I do this or act this way or talk to people this way, I get the most attention, I get the most views, I get the most this.
And then it's validation, and it's the validation that you feel like you never got, the attention that you never got. And I can totally understand. Sometimes you're like, you need to be validated in your pain, but continuing to need validation over and over again just shows like the hole that's there. You're not healing it by doing that. Because if you wanted to actually make a movement for your community, you would be moving forward, not keeping everybody entrapped in the victim mentality of that you're oppressed. That's not the way to move something forward. Like, as a woman, I've never felt oppressed. I've never felt oppressed, and it only came to my attention when everybody told me that I was. I was like, okay, well, you can say that. And this sounds so fucking bad. I feel like I'm offending everybody in the world right now. That's why it's on a podcast, not just on TikTok. I know. No, it's like, I love women and I love men, and I'm like I'm a female men's coach. It's like, but I didn't grow up with parents who helicoptered me. I was basically had to raise myself. So I was never taught you have to carry pepper spray in the street and like someone's going to attack you. I just grew up like a human and I was never afraid and nothing bad ever happened. And so I didn't have this mentality of like fear men, and I didn't have this mentality of you're going to make less than a man, or, you know, I just make the money that I made and I kept making more money and I started my own business and I coach men now. And it's like, in fact, I get paid more than some men by men. Like, it's just, that's how it is.
And you'll even have, some women just ridicule you just for even saying that and being like, well, aren't you one of the lucky ones? Oh, lucky you didn't have to go through X, Y, and Z.
Lucky, and it has nothing to do with luck. I built my own luck. You build your own luck in this world by the harder you work. Like, stop putting invisible limitations on yourself. And this is why I think I battled with you with the struggle thing, because I'm like, who says you have to struggle? Who says, like, for me, if I don't have to attach myself to the idea of struggling, I'm not gonna. Like, maybe I go through struggle, but like, I'm not going to attach myself to the idea. I'm going to attach myself. My life's going to be full of joy every single day. And I make every day the best day of my life. And it's great. It's the best life. Yeah. Happy little tree.
No, I think you're absolutely right. And I just kind of laugh at some of the stuff that, kind of gets said, because what they say, which is 9 times out of 10, just based off how they feel, whether it's from past trauma, what they've been told, what they've been indoctrinated with, whatever, it doesn't follow the numbers. And I've always been a very analytical person. If the facts or numbers or whatever doesn't add up, then what's the point? Why? So they'll sit there and be like, oh, right, you need to carry pepper spray, you need to do this, you need to be so cautious, whatever. But if you look at the numbers, most of the violence is towards men.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's not to say you shouldn't be.
I'm not saying you shouldn't be prepared.
I think, people should be prepared, yes. But like not afraid. And like, also that whole thing is just so crazy to me, because most of the sexual violence or whatever from male towards female and vice versa is not from a fucking stranger. Like, they make it seem like in the movies, like some stranger comes out of the bushes and attacks you. And like, that's why you need your pepper spray. It's a family friend. It's a family member. It's a friend in the family. Closest to you? Yeah, it's someone who you've dated before. Like, and that's why it happens, because there's some foundation of trust. This is how it happened to me. It's like, I wasn't expecting that this person was going to do anything to break the small foundation of trust that we had built, right? So in that moment, you're not thinking, hey, this person is going to attack me, I need to react in a way that's like screaming, hey, I'm going to be raped. You're thinking in a way of like, this can't be happening. And so it's like, the rules that we're taught anyway are just so stupid. It's like, you don't need to really fear a stranger, because a stranger is just like me and you walking around. Like, most of the time, you're not going to encounter a psychopath. Like, most of the time. I mean, there's that 0.1% that will get murdered. I'm sorry. But
right. I mean, but again, that's just life. And I get really irritated when
you're not going to get murdered. That's just life.
Well, I'm sorry, but shit happens. Shit happens.
Fair enough.
I mean, I guess it kind of like goes along with it, of like, I can't stand when these modern age feminists are constantly like, oh, we need to start teaching young men or men in general not to rape. And it's like, that doesn't need to be taught. It's the same idea of gun laws or gun control. You can make gun laws stricter. You can teach men not to rape or not to be that kind of guy. There are still going to be bad people in this fucking world. All the laws and teachings and education, whatever, isn't going to stop the bad people from doing whatever the fuck they want to do. They're still going to get their guns. They're still going to get their drugs. They're still going to abuse, attack women, men, whatever the fuck. They're still going to do whatever the hell they want to do, regardless of what you tell them. Like, use some fucking common sense here.
Well, and it's like, also, what are we putting the emphasis on? We're putting the emphasis on, we have to teach men not to rape. Like, that's just such the wrong mentality, because then all you're doing every single day is implanting the seed of rape in people's minds. And why wouldn't you just say, hey, we want to teach young women and young men what are boundaries, right? How to love each other, how to communicate well with each other. Why don't we focus on the positive things that we should do? Because then we avoid the things that we shouldn't do. And like, I think that honestly, situations like that are just like, obviously there are super bad people. But also I think if everybody just understood boundaries more, felt more confident enough to use their voice and to speak up and to say something, or because women are trained to just do whatever, and men are trained to, like, they don't know this. How can they possibly know sometimes? We're taught to like read all these signs, and it just gets so fucking confusing. It's like, we just need to teach people how to understand how to read someone. Are they comfortable? Are they uncomfortable? What are your boundaries like? Do you have a discussion? Like, don't be afraid to just ask someone, hey, do you want to have sex? Like, get consent.
Right.
Like, teach people, do you want to
there's different
kiss? Like,
levels of like, just no. There's a no, come on, no, stop it. And then there's like a no.
yeah, like
It's still no, but one is like a, oh, come on, don't do that. Don't
and just,
start that.
just confirming, like, okay, I hear you're saying no, like, I don't want to go further if that's the thing, right? Like, I don't want to play around right now, like, just being comfortable to just talk about stuff, because I think that's like the numb thing. Like, communication is just totally shot for everybody.
Oh yeah. What sucks too is like, there's guys that won't even have sex with their partners if, okay, I'm sorry, it will go both ways, but the studies show that men are more prone to do this. They won't even have sex with their partners if they feel like it's an obligation or they're making them. When a husband or boyfriend, whatever, asks, and then the woman's like, okay, yeah, fine. I'll be like, and I know I've done this before too. I'll be like, no, it's okay, never mind.
I felt that
I don't
before.
want to feel like I'm making you do it.
That's exactly. I feel you. I've done that with past partners before too, where it's like, I'm the one who's initiating. I'm the one who wants to do it. And they say exactly that. Like, yeah, we can. And I'm like, well, what do you mean we can? Like, do you want to? Because I don't want to feel like I'm forcing you to. It feels weird for me.
Yes.
Like, it doesn't feel good. Like, it's like, I don't, and then it turns you off. And then it's like, the whole situation is all fuckety. And then I don't know if you've ever gotten this response back, but then a response I've gotten back too is like, well, every time we do it, you always say that, like, you're pressuring me to or forcing me to. And I'm like, yeah, because you sound like undecided. And I don't want to, like, I need some concrete yes or no's here. Like, don't be wishy-washy on me.
Oh yeah. But I think another thing that, should be talked about, kind of bring to light, is like, if they say no, accept the fucking no.
Yeah.
So it's like, time and time again, and this is prevalent in, every guy I talk to and all my buddies and everything, is like, a guy can get rejected time and time again, and he isn't allowed to say jack absolute shit about it. He just has to be like, okay, I guess that it is what it is, and we just have to just kind of roll with it. You ever reject a woman for sex or whatever? Holy shit. Who else are you seeing? You not like me anymore. You don't find me attractive anymore.
I can't say that because I respond differently, but I know what you're talking about.
Right.
The general consensus is men should be ready to go all the time. If they don't want it, something's wrong with them. Like, I totally understand what you're saying. And it's like, it's unfair. It's Tom Bilu and his wife, I'm not sure how to pronounce his last name, but Bilu, however you say it, they have a thing that goes, I won't make you feel bad for saying no if you don't make me feel bad for asking. That's right? Awesome. It's so perfect. It's so good. And you know what? I don't know. Like, I think that you should know before you get someone what their sexual preferences are, because I think a lot of people get into relationships where their needs are unmatched, like totally unmatched. And then it becomes this game of like, hey, you have to do something for me to get sex as a reward. And it becomes a bargaining chip. And it's just so unhealthy that it's like, you should be aligned with your partner. Like, when you guys want to be intimate, like, it should be a match. Right.
You can't have someone that, only wants it maybe once a month and the only one wants it every day. That is never going to work out ever. But I will say this though, you have to keep that same energy, right? So I obviously can only put this in perspective of a guy, because obviously I've only dated women, so I can only give it based off my own experiences and my experiences of my friends. But it's like, if a woman is putting out, right, when you guys are just talking or just started dating, and it's it's that every day, multiple times a day, and it's going, and everything's great, and then you get that ring and then it stops, it's like, no, keep that same energy, right? And this is just the general baseline. I get it. Things happen, situation happens, life goes up and down. I get that. I'm saying just kind of like as a whole, don't put out and go above and beyond up until you basically get secured and get that lockdown, and then everything just kind of goes out the window. But I do think one of the big things that, you know, as the couple kind of grows and gets older, and they're kind of wondering what happened, why their moods are changing, why the sex drive isn't there, why they're kind of maybe butting heads, a lot of that stuff. I don't think too people realize that how you take care of yourself as well affects so many different things. So many guys have never heard of testosterone replacement therapy, not realizing that after the age of 35, their test goes down, and guess what? Their little thingy thing down there doesn't start to quite work like it used to. Same with women. They stop taking care of themselves. Their hormones go up and down. Guess what? Now you're not in the mood anymore. Now you're both just sitting there going, oh, why the fuck are we doing this? Like, there's so many different things that go into play, but if you take care of yourselves, and then you'll be able to take care of your partners, and now everyone's fucking happy.
Yeah. No, 100% back that up. We totally agree on that the first time, because that's what I tell my clients too, is a lot of people become enmeshed in their relationships and start to just do things to please their partner because they love them so much, but they forget about themselves. And then the whole relationship falls apart because you can never satisfy your partner enough to be self-fulfilled yourself. Like, you have to be fulfilled first and just pour out and pour out and pour out. Because as long as you both do that and you're in alignment and that's how you got started, like, both of you are going to be fine. But it's like, when you both meet, you're both single, separate, you know, hopefully you're both single, you know, you meet up, you get with each other, but you're
it's
both
sad we have
doing,
to say that nowadays.
You're both doing your own thing. I mean, whatever, there's non-monogamy. You're both doing your own thing, and that's how you meet. And that's why you're attracted to each other, because you see each other's passion and fire, and that's what you're into about the person. But then you get together and everything becomes about each other, and the separation dies off. But like, the relationship wasn't founded off of you guys being one person. It was founded off of you guys being two separate entities that were great together. So even for people who are married or together, listening to this, who are struggling, like, this is always advice that I give my clients. And I'm a male men's coach. So especially for men, taking time for yourself and pulling back, not saying that you neglect your partner, but pulling back on doing every single thing for your partner and start doing it for yourself. And it's going to shock the container because now you're changing the rules, but it also gives that person space to find themselves again, to do things for themselves again. Because also, when you start doing so much for somebody else, you take away their ability to fend for themselves, and they start to lose self-respect. Like a helicopter parent, you take away the child's ability to learn anything, and they don't fucking know how to do anything. They have no self-respect at that point. They don't know how to go through the world. And then you have a child that living with you until 35, hopeless. The end.
No, right.
Welcome
No,
to my TED Talk.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So how that would kind of tie into relationships, and, you know, I've gotten some ridicule on social media for saying this, but the women that actually get it and know what I'm saying and how I'm saying it agree with me 100%. Is a guy wants a woman who is independent, but not the strong, independent woman. I don't need no man bullshit. That's just annoying. You know, they want a woman that is independent, meaning she can take care of herself as a fucking adult and handle her own affairs. But they want a woman that is submissive in the relationship. And this gets real wishy-washy because nowadays, because people don't actually open up their mind and think what it actually fucking means. It's not submissive as in you're his bitch. It's submissive as in you're showing him the respect and leadership, you know, as his role in the relationship and in the fucking household. But a lot of times it gets skewed because women are being submissive to a man that isn't worthy. Not every man is a husband. I was just
gonna say that. He's got to prove his ability to be dominant, and people get fucking mismatched. Women are like, oh, I would be submissive, but he can't take care of anything. Yeah, if you don't feel like you can trust him to take care of what needs to be done, you're with the wrong dude. He's not in his divine masculine, and you're wasting your time. And I mean, I'm sorry to say that, but like, dude's gotta get in his masculine. And by you staying with someone who's not in their masculine, they're never going to be in their masculine, and you're never going to be in your divine feminine. Because if you're a woman who can't trust her man, you are taking on the masculine role. That's just what happens. So many women are in their masculine.
Yeah, same goes both ways too. Not every woman is a wife. So these guys are trying to be the leaders, protectors, providers, doing whatever they can, like as a man should, to women that don't give no shit. then that's when they turn into the bad boys or fuck boys, whatever. They're like, well, I gave everything, did all the right husband material
Yeah, to
shit
the wrong
for this
person.
one. It's like, no, you do that to the right woman, and you'd be amazed at how she can take that and multiply and be fruitful with it. But people don't fucking think like that anymore. But you can't blame them though, because it's almost ignorance. It's not taught. They don't know.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say they've never thought like that. Marriage used to just be a union of like what's the best, like it used to just be a logical concept. It wasn't based on love when it was like, you know, founded. It was like, how do we get the most property? How do we mix together? And it was literally a logical thing, not based on love. And then when it started to become about love, it was like, you know, we didn't think about divine masculine and divine feminine energy. We didn't think like that because our consciousness just wasn't up to par.
Right.
But we had natural roles, right? Like we had natural roles of like the man is going to be the hunter, which is going out, getting a job, working, providing, and the woman's going to be the nurturer. So it worked out in that sense. But now the roles are skewed. Who does what? And the masculine feminine energy is getting very fucking confused. Like a lot of women are in these jobs that, like having a job is a masculine energy because it's going out and getting what you want. I have a very masculine energy, but you know that totally forgot where I was going with this. But a lot of women would like to be in their divine feminine. They just don't know it because they haven't encountered a divine masculine energy that makes them feel safe enough to do so.
Well, right. And there's a lot that goes into play with that as well, because you're absolutely right in terms of, you know, the roles and what we traditionally were and everything. And it makes sense. There's a reason for it. It's not just by random or by chance. But you have to remember too, with this new age and what the media and every society is pressuring them, it's basically like making it seem like, no, you don't need no man. You have to go out and get a job. Don't worry about a family. You have to do this. Focus on your education. Fuck everything else. You don't need all that shit. But then you also have to think and look at the other side of what they're doing to the guys of being like, nope, you need to be softer. Being weak is okay. You don't need to go to the gym. Being tough is bad. You're toxic masculine. So that's when you have all the guys that are becoming more feminine and all the women that are being pushed to be more masculine. And yet we wonder why all these relationships are so fucked up and no one knows what to do or how to communicate, and divorce rates high and all these kids are gone.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
Because we can even tie this back to what we were saying a little bit ago on how this generation is becoming weaker and weaker, and just due to pretty much the absence and neglect of, you know, the parents not being as hard and, you know, teaching them the right ways and how to do things. Well, if the women are being pushed far into the workplace and education and everything like that, where traditionally they were at home helping make the house a home and, you know, helping be there for the kids or whatever, and the guys are, you know, still working their ass off and doing whatever. Now you have both parents that are out of the household. That's when the government takes in to teach the kids, because the schools are ran by the governments. Now the governments are teaching and indoctrinating the kids or whatever the fuck they want to. And now you have a whole bunch of kids that are basically government educated, weak as shit, because no one was there to teach them the reality of fucking life and how hard it is. So now you basically just have an entire nation of malleable little fucks, and have the government be able to just do and run whatever the fuck they want to do, because no one's able to stand up and tell them no, because they already trained an entire nation how not to. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
We've had multiple moments like that during this conversation. I totally agree. We're a bunch of Play-Doh people. Moldable, malleable.
But this didn't happen overnight, though. It
No.
has been a slow process of conditioning and letting little things here and there just kind of ease its way in. The idea of convenience and work and the social justice. Now you can't say certain things, just slowly easing its way until the point where we're at now, where, you know, this newer generation is just like, oh no, it's okay. This is how it should be. This is normal.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy to see how things are changing. But that's the whole point of, like, you know, you're a coach and I'm a coach and like, you know, being a men's coach is the greatest thing I've ever done, but it's like to kind of hopefully beat this dynamic to help the future generations out, because it's like giving men back their power. Like, you know, you need to be powerful as a man. It's not about being more powerful than women or, like not being weak. It's just like tap into your like godlike essence. Like we are all a part of something greater. So for you to like let that go to waste because of fear or because of what society has taught you, like, and not challenging yourself. And, I get like, there's a lot of people who, so like, for example, like people get crapped on for having a specific type of person they want to date. Men get shat on this a lot because they have a particular body type or whatever they want to date. Women have a particular body type and stuff they want to date too. And a lot of men will get upset, like even in my comment section about, all women want is men who are ripped and men who have money. And honestly, there's nothing wrong with that. If you want that in your partner, but like, you better also be that too, right? Because you should want to have a good body and whatever that means to you. You should want to be financially secure, and you should want that in a partner. I hate seeing these TikToks that are like, oh, don't worry about how much money they have, or, don't focus on that. Like you should worry, because if that's going to be your future spouse or whatever, you want them to be independent, like you said, like, and it's not about them having to take care of you and being lazy about it. It's just like, no, dude, you should want to take care of yourself, and you should want someone who gives a shit about their own well-being, because if they're not even financially secure themselves, guess who they're going to latch onto? And you're not trying to have an adult child, whether that's male or female. It's just nuts to me. It's just absolutely nuts. You should care about it, and you should care about how they take care of their body, because that when you're old, like you want a life partner, that person's not going to last you for life. You know what I mean? Like you have to worry about your heart health, and that passes on to your children and the genetics. So it's not about the aesthetics. It's about, how does this person take care of themselves? How do they respect themselves? How do they see themselves?
Well, exactly. And it kind of is about the aesthetics though, but that's just very surface value. And I not mean it as a very just subliminal, just a very, subsurface level. I mean that as like the aesthetics, the first thing that we see is often, you could tell a lot of a person just based off the way that they look. So if I see someone walking around, they have a very proportioned body, they look like they take care of themselves, they hold themselves accordingly, I'm like, okay, he has discipline to eat appropriately, he has the work ethic to go to the gym, and he has the confidence, to carry himself a certain way. That there already tells me a couple of things about him in and itself.
Tells you about their personality.
Right. It irritates me like a motherfucker to see, the dad bods in and big is beautiful and all this extra super plus size bullshit and love your body. Is like, okay, I get it. Like, you should love your body and have respect for yourself. And don't get me wrong, little curves every now and again ain't that bad. But there comes to a point where you need to take care of yourself, right? You can't keep promoting this unhealthy, unrealistic standard and just push it as, oh no, this is self-love. No, fucking ain't. You're killing yourself.
Or this is healthy, because it's not healthy to be overweight.
There are people that will sit there and be like, nope, I'm healthy. Motherfucker, you're 250 pounds and you're 5'3".
I mean, you might be healthy now, but like you have to think about the compound effect of time. Like it weighs on your joints and your heart, and like, not saying that these people are bad or awful, or you have to be like a size 0. That is not the point. The point is like, think about your health, like your future health. It's just like people who smoke cigarettes or drink every day, and it's like, I'm healthy, I work, like when I went to Colombia, I drank every single day. That was not healthy, even though every single morning I went to the gym. It's not like you can just cut it. It's not like it just canceled out.
Right.
If I continue to do that, it's like, I might be looking good now and healthy now, but like that will eventually kill me. And I am very aware of that, so it's like, you can't make excuses for yourself. And it's like, when I see a dude with a 6-pack, like it's attracted to me, because it looks good, but it looks good because it's discipline, because I know he's going to do hard things. I know what it takes to have a 6-pack. I work out every day. I know what it takes to like, you can't eat certain foods above your calorie limit. Like you have a certain mentality, and that mentality says a lot about your personality and what you're willing to do. Right. And so, like there's just different things that go into that, like different aesthetics. Like I can't get like, you're the fucking shape of your nose or your ears or your boobs or whatever. You can't really control that. But
right. but definitely the weight and how you take care of yourself is definitely within your fucking control. You're not fucking
Right.
big bone. You just eat too much Taco Bell. But I'm gonna throw another variable into the mix here as well. Is besides like just the
You would be skinny if you
besides
did that, you know, because it
what?
makes you go to the bathroom.
I,
The diarrhea diet.
Jesus fuck. So but besides just that physical aspect, right? Besides like that health aspect, so I want the female audience to kind of think about this one is what happens if you're out and about, right? And a dude comes up to you and tries to mug you or rob you or whatever or jump you with your woman. I'm sorry, but a fat fuck ain't gonna be able to do shit. Or grabs your woman's purse and starts running. You will
I
be
thought you
out
were
of
just
breath.
talking about a solo woman.
No, you're with no. Are you talking about just talking about a solo woman?
Yeah,
I'm
like
talking
if she
about,
was just by herself, because I was like, yeah, that's why I work out, because I can fight.
well, I mean,
No one will try to rob me.
I mean that too. I mean, it goes both ways. But I mean, you should want a man that can be able to protect yourself. And to any feminist fucking listening, don't you dare sit there and say, no, I can defend my own self because, honey, you versus 3 other dudes, you're not going to stand a fucking chance. I'm sorry, but the reality of the
Black
situation
Widow.
is, like, one of the strongest women would not stand a fucking chance against a couple other dudes. It just, that's the fucking biology of it. It is what it fucking
Gotta
is.
be fast. Fast. I'm just kidding. But no, and yeah, I mean, like, even if you don't need it, it's nice to have, you know,
Right.
like a man who can protect you. I mean, and honestly,
well, hopefully you should never need it. You know what I mean?
Well,
Hopefully that should never be the case.
yeah, but it's also attractive to know that you have like security. You know, it's like if you have a dog that's like it like a pit bull, like they are the sweetest dogs in the world. But if you train a dog to protect you, any kind of dog, you know, it could be any kind of dog. If you just know you have that next level. Hey, Chihuahuas get pretty insane. Okay, they're probably the most defensive dogs. They're crazy.
Yeah, except,
anyway,
you know, one little swift kick in my leg and it's across the parking lot. But anyway, we don't abuse animals. I'm just putting that out there. It's metaphor.
Chihuahuas are great footballs.
Well, if people are going to take that tiny little snippet clip and be like, JB and Elise abuse animals and throw chihuahuas. You're like, no.
Cut this part out. All the other offensive things that we've said, we're going to get 500,000 clips of like how we're horrible people on the internet.
Right, just of animals, because people love doing that. They'll take like a little snippet and be like, that's what they said. And it's like, no, watch the whole thing.
Yeah. Okay, sorry. Anyway, the whole reason I was saying that is because, you know, like, because when I was like in high school, I didn't like work out. Like I was in sports and stuff, but I was like, oh, I don't really care about guys with muscles or whatever. But also like, that's how I took care of myself. I was just a normal person, whatever, skinny fat, I don't know whatever you want to call it. But like once I started working out and started getting muscle tone and definition and understanding the process, it was like, you don't really want someone who has a different lifestyle than you because you just don't match. Like I can't date someone who's like smaller than me because it's just so uncomfortable. You know, it's like,
right.
I don't want that, you know, like
nor would you want to date someone 3 times the size of
you. In muscle mass, sure I would.
Well, okay, you know what I mean.
I'm talking about,
like,
I would.
To lift their football up in order to, you know, try to see what they're doing. You want them to at least be able to see their dick.
Oh my God.
There's some dudes out there that haven't seen their dick since 93.
Since 93.
But I get what you're definitely saying though, and it makes it hard. You know, you're someone that takes care of themselves. You're with someone that doesn't. You know, you obviously don't eat the same thing. There's going to be time spent away from each other because you're at the gym and they're not. And oftentimes, what I found too is there's always going to be, you know, a little bit of resentment that's slowly being built because they're watching you take care of yourself and get better and better, and they're not. You know. And I think there's a lot of misconception too, is that, you know, fit guys always want the most fit chicks. From my experiences, all the fit guys that I know want someone curvy or like low meat on their bones or something. They maybe don't want the super ripped, muscular woman that kind of looks like a dude sometimes.
All I see is fit guys dating yoga chicks. It's like no muscle definition and super skinny.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's just take care of yourself. You don't have to be the most fit person in the fucking world, but I definitely want you to be able to live to see your fucking grandkids.
Yeah, that's the whole point of this. Joe and Elise are not fat phobic. Just take care of yourself, dude. Like,
well, what? Why? I don't. Maybe you can kind of understand what I'm talking about here. Is like I hate, and I'm sure it exists somewhere within some people, but the whole idea of fat phobic or homophobic or transphobic, I don't think people realize that that suffix phobic, that means fear. It means you're afraid of. I'm not walking through Walmart going, hey, just literally like having an anxiety panic attack because I saw one person with cankles. That's not it. It's just I don't want to be fat. I'm not fat phobic. It's just irritating to see how many fat motherfuckers there are in the United States. Not homophobic. Well, I don't get afraid of gay people. I'm not transphobic. I don't get afraid of trans people. I don't fear them.
Yeah, maybe it's talking about like your, yeah, I don't know. It's super weird. Anyway, I don't even really care what other people do. I don't care if someone's fat or not, to be honest.
Right.
But I don't want to be fat because I don't feel good. I've been overweight before and I did not fucking feel good. Well, I don't know if I'm even allowed to say overweight. Over a weight that I was comfortable with.
I was gonna say you don't look like you've ever been overweight.
How can you can't say that to someone just from sitting here. You don't know who I was before.
I mean, you can usually tell just by the way their skin sits, any stretch marks, the way,
Well, I wasn't obese.
Kind of sits and lays. You can usually fucking tell.
Like, I was a few pounds overweight in my own eyes.
Right.
We can scroll down my Instagram and I'll show you. But anyway, yeah, but it didn't make me feel good. But I don't care. Like Lizzo, I fucking love Lizzo. I love what she's doing. I love her movement. I think we all have different purposes in life. But if like I had a child and they were like, this is who I am, I'd be like, no, we are not going down that route. Like, I don't want to set you up for diabetes. I don't want to set you up for like, like I want you to be fucking healthy and I'm not going to like put you on a treadmill and starve you. I'm just going to be like, yo, like we're living a healthy lifestyle. Like, and we're going to have balance. And I wouldn't want that for my child. So why the fuck would I say to everybody else, yeah, go be you. Like, I mean, you're a fucking adult, make your choices.
Well, right. And it's like, if the child is growing up in that kind of household where, you're already setting that example, 9 times out of 10, that's not going to be a fucking topic of discussion. The kids are already going to have those habits and whatever already instilled in place in the household.
But that's what society's teaching. So imagine you send them out to the school, like you said, and you're like, why the fuck are you having these ideas of coming home and like thinking that, because kids, I think, also talk back to their parents now. Like they tell the parents how things are going to go. And it's like the parents cave and it's super confusing.
Because they can't. All the kids need to do is say one little thing and the kid's gone and taken away. The parents can't do shit.
So weird, dude. If I ever had kids, I don't want to, but I would totally they're going into the forest to learn. Like they're homeschooled for sure. No, like off the grid, no fucking like.
Oh yeah.
Just like totally wild person. Like you're gonna learn how to start like fires with flint and just like fucking tie ropes and survive. Like you're gonna learn some real skills. If you ever fucking fall out of an airplane, like you're gonna know how to live in the wilderness. Like that's the kind of life that I want.
What's sad is like even just a little bit of what you said. No guy knows how to fucking do that anymore to teach their fucking kids. We've lived in such fucking convenience. But I want to jump back a little bit to what you had said before. I can't stand Lizzo. I can't fucking stand her.
I love her.
Like, what irritates me even more is everyone's praising her big, beautiful black self. And if you're a good person, you're a good person. Good for you. Go for it. What I don't condone is, again, the whole, I'm sexy. I can get whatever. It's like, oh, no, honey, you.
But I'm sure she is. But she is sexy and she can get whatever. Like, because the topic isn't about like. Yeah. Well, I mean, you're sexy to the eye of the beholder and I'm sexy to the eye of the beholder to some people. Like, but the definition of beauty isn't what we are discussing. It's the definition of health.
Exactly.
So her being sexy or not has nothing to do with it.
I'm just talking about her mentality behind it with everything. And everyone's just hyping her up and praising her. They'll go to someone like DJ Khaled or 50 Cent and be like, yo, what the fuck happened, fat ass? It's like, where's that same energy, motherfuckers? 50 Cent has, 20 years on Lizzo or something? And he let himself go a little bit?
But, he's also not standing in his power like that because, what is it? Zach Galifianakis or, no, Jonah Hill Jonah Hill lost a bunch of weight and
saw
people commented on
now.
it. Yeah, but
it's because I've seen him so much overweight and then he
like
got skinny and I'm like, it's not the same.
Yeah, but the thing is, he lost a bunch of weight and then he told people, hey, don't comment on my weight loss. This is just for me. And he stood in his power, right? So Lizzo got shot on.
Good for him.
Well, so this is what I'm saying. The difference is people are going to shit on the people who let them shit on them. You know, obviously there's going to be people who do it no matter what, but Lizzo said, fuck you. I'm starting a business from this because y'all are making me feel bad and I'm going to make money off your hate. So instead of inspiring her to change, they just inspired her to stay the fucking same and make money off of it because they shot on her so much. And 50 Cent and whatever, they might be bullied into changing, but they're not sticking up against it. You know, like Will Smith went on his Instagram page one time and was like, hey, I just got to admit I'm in the worst shape of my life. And it got a lot of praise, actually. So it's like people are going to say what they want to say. And usually it's from a place of strong insecurity within themselves. And the main point is just be healthy in your own life. And you are beautiful in your own way. But if you don't feel fucking beautiful, you're going to shit on a bunch of other people and try to get them to live up to your standards, which at the end of the day doesn't really matter. The end from my side.
I guess I'm a little more brash in my opinion. I will say.
Yeah, you're pretty brash.
I will say how I see it, the reality of the situation. And it just, at the end of the day, it is what it is. I'm not responsible for your own feelings. If you get hurt, well, I'm sorry.
Responsible for your feelings. I mean, it's true. It's also like
true. If you get hurt on something I say, that is my own damn fault. Whether or not I'm right or wrong. Oh my God. Right? And I ain't fucking perfect. I've been wrong a lot of times in my life. But if what I say offends you, that is because you let it offend you. Because it could have easily have just taken and rolled off the fucking shoulders. You would have moved on with your day and nothing would have changed in the whole fucking world. So if what I say moved you in any sort of way, good, positive, bad, ugly, whatever, that is because you allowed it to.
Mm-hmm. Well, just like Sadhguru had said, you know, if I like cuss you out in Hindi and you don't understand Hindi, you won't know what I'm saying, so you won't be upset by it. So it's like, is it the words that are actually upsetting you, or is it just your understanding of the words? So if you change your understanding of things, and that's why I'm saying to round out this whole conversation, you don't have to suffer or struggle, because my understanding of whatever's happening is just this perspective of I don't have to suffer or struggle. Things are just like much easier for me, I think. And that's just what the story I'm sticking to.
Right. And we are all the authors of our own narrative, not let the standards, verbiage, or ideologies of society, parents, and other influences to dictate how we act, perform, and choose how we dictate our own lives.
Amen.
That was a good fucking circle around right there.
It was a good circle. I think we should end it there because we can't top that until we have another podcast where we go off in 30 different circles.
Oh yeah. But no, I feel like that was a good way to kind of wrap everything in a nice, pretty little fucking bow, put it under the Christmas tree, and wait for the redheaded stepchild to open it so you can beat him.
We're not putting that in the podcast. Yeah, that's the first opening line, dude. Wait for the redheaded stepchild to open it up so that we can beat him. Oh no.
But all right, Elise, why don't you do all your little plugs and hashtags, wherever the fuck, where everyone else can find you, hire you, or just admire you.
Me? Put my hashtags? Find me at elicemicheals.com.
Your ads, your social media ads, your website, whatever the.
Find me wherever the best is at the top. You go where the best is, that's where I am.
See, but that's perspective though, because I may think the best is Red Robin's, but someone else may think the best is White Castle. Either way, I guess you're not going to be.
I'm there. I'm everywhere. Omnipresence.
Female Jesus.
You got to be godlike, you know. I'm like Kanye. Find God, but it's me that you're finding. When Kanye said find God, he sent my Instagram profile.
I did a lot of meditating and soul searching, and every road led me there. Oh, that's funny. I mean, I'm going to put all your stuff in the description anyway, so if you're too shy to say it, I don't blame you.
Yeah, well, if I say it anyway, people are gonna fuck it up. So
Fair enough.
because Elise Micheals is like they always spell it AELS and no one will find it. They'll find some random person and it's Michaels, but like Mike Heels, Micheals.
Mike
No, Mich.
Heels.
What are you
I think
talking
I got that.
about?
You said Mike Heels. Mike Heels.
It's Michaels, but looks like Mike Heels.
Yeah.
Like
Mikeelheels.
Man,
Mike Heels.
you are just on a different plane right now.
Actually, I'm in a parking lot.
You're in a different level right now. You're in a different universe. Well, I'll put this on my podcast too. So what do you want to say? We'll have to chop this up for both of us. I'll edit a little bit before I send it to you.
No, I want the whole raw.
You want the whole raw dog?
Well, yeah, because I'm gonna sit there and I'll tweak it up a little bit too, and I'll add the intro and whatever the fuck. But
right.
I guess it really doesn't matter because you said they're all gonna fuck it up anyways. But if it means anything, all my social media is whatever the fuck is JB Motivation 777 because that's a good solid number, including my website's JB Motivation. So
including your website. At first, I thought you said including my wife's site, and I was like,
yeah,
didn't we have this discussion in the beginning?
Right. Even her OnlyFans is JB Motivation.
I've been thinking about starting one of those.
Really? Breakup got you down that bad, huh?
No, but I was thinking about the fact that it's a good marketing thing to just have like, kind of like what are those creator things that people can just like have a subscription to for like content creators?
Oh, it's like just premium subscription shit.
Yeah, but like if you say it's OnlyFans, it's like it gets people's attention. Like what? And then they click on it. It's just normal shit. Like it's just
I would only
like
caution
a marketing
you about
tactic.
this though this is why I haven't thought about OnlyFans. Instead, I was going to go to Patreon or something.
Yeah, Patreon. That's what I was thinking about.
Well, right, because OnlyFans' content is 95% X-rated shit. So I wouldn't want to.
I mean, you already have that on your profile, so I don't know why you're afraid.
I wouldn't want myself or my company basically have that association.
You have that already. I have so many modeling photos on your page that are super sexual. I would say you have like photos with like chains and your shirt off.
Yeah, that's not sexual or.
What do you mean? Yeah, maybe to you. I don't know what levels it could further get. I mean, you could put your feet photos on there. That's what I'm thinking. Like, why do people get so upset about feet photos? Because
I don't know. I was kind of thinking about it because I'm like,
I was thinking about feet photos.
Feet. I'll pretend
someone will like them.
Instead of Joe, would it be Josephina?
No, but someone would want like man feet. Someone's got a fetish for man feet.
You think so?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Because I've seen the stupid amount of money people bring in off of fucking feet pics. Like and I'm over here, I'm like, I'm busting my ass being a hardworking American, and all I need to do is take a picture of my foot.
That's what I'm fucking saying, dude. Like people are fapping to your selfies for free, and you're gonna get upset because someone wants to jerk off to your feet. I think that's ridiculous. You might as well get the lotion out and just stop it up.
I don't want to think about that because I know
people do.
There have been women who have got off to my voice before, and
but men also, I'm sure. Don't think you don't have gay men wanting a daddy from you. Oh, your voice cut out. You there?
Yep.
Okay.
Spam
You don't what?
Gotta love it.
You don't what?
One of these days I'll switch to a computer.
Yeah. Hopefully.
I'm the car guy.
Okay, but like can you finish your sentence?
What was I saying?
About gay guys jerking off to your voice.
No, I know they do. Because if I'm out in a bar or a club, the amount of gay dudes that try to buy me drinks, which, sure, fuck it, I'll take it. It's a free drink. But then I kind of feel like a woman being harassed by a dude when they don't know when to quit.
Yeah, well, you're welcome.
And it's like, I don't have any problem if you're fucking gay. Just know that I'm fucking straight. And you cross that fucking boundary, we're going to have a problem. Because unlike a woman, I will grab your esophagus, rip it straight from your fucking throat, and watch you fall and your whole family cry. I don't care.
You just gave me the double chin there for a second. Oof.
It is what it is. Again, it's about respecting boundaries. If they want to say they were born that way and I was born this way, guess what? It shouldn't be a fucking problem then.
Yeah. Well, that's also like a different I know we're totally like just going off on a tangent, even though we are done with the so-called episode, but that's another perspective that men and women have different is like, I don't think I would take drinks from a dude at a bar anymore. Like no one, because there's an expectation attached to that I know. Plus, I know that if I take a drink from someone, I don't know what's in it. And why would I want to put myself at the risk of getting drunk and being more susceptible to whatever the fuck expectation is going on there? So
Well,
that
right,
sucks.
That's
it's
why
like,
that's why they always say if you do ever accept drinks, right in front of the bartender, you watch them pour the drink. Hopefully, it's just a shot, and it's right there. The only transaction is between you and the bartender, not the other person. To kind of alleviate that. But you're absolutely right, because there was one fucking video that went viral of a dude being like, "Oh, if my girl accepts a drink from another dude at a bar, is cheating." And then basically everyone was like, "What are you talking about? Why are you being insecure and all this?" And I'm just kind of thinking, I'm like, I can get where you're coming from, where it's just a free drink or whatever, but I thought about it. And I'm like, no, you are openly inviting another man giving you something, and especially at a bar. You're
and
right,
opening the door to something. Well, and like, yeah, no, I totally agree.
So
I don't know if I would call it cheating, but it's like
not cheating,
it's
but
opening the door. Yeah, it's disrespectful. It's like getting a girl's phone number from the gym or something, like because she gave it to you.
Even though you
may
not do anything with it.
It's so disrespectful. Like it hurts because it's broken a line of trust. But that's also something that couples need to talk about and discuss and set clear expectations on, because although it might be clear to you what is cheating and what is like boundary crossing and whatever, what is loyalty, it might be different for the other person. They might have a different experience, and that doesn't make either of you good or bad, but you need to have those set before you deep dive into the relationship, because shit like that's going to come up. Like it would bother me when an ex-partner would like all these bikini models and girls from the gym's pictures when they were on OnlyFans. And I'm like, that just seems inappropriate now that we both know this girl and you're liking all these photos of her, and like, but you're with me, you know, like, and I set that boundary, and that was also broken multiple times, which was awful. But because I wasn't doing the same thing, like I don't have the need to follow a bunch of dudes who are shirtless, and like, it's not in my peripheral. So for me, it didn't make sense. Like, why do you feel that need?
Right. So let me throw this idea out there though. So if she's getting mad that he's liking other girls' pictures, right? And 9 times out of 10, a majority of a woman's following is guys. So when she is posting a certain kind of picture that accentuates certain sexual parts of her body or provocative any sort of manner, she can't necessarily say she's doing it for herself or her friends if majority of her following are guys, the majority of people that are liking her pictures are guys, because then it's, in a sense, it's basically for other guys. So she can post pictures for other guys to like, and basically, I'm sure some of them even jacked off to those pictures. How can she sit there and get mad at him for liking another girl's picture when she's pretty much doing the same thing, just the other way around?
You're saying within the relationship, if you are posting provocative pictures.
Right. You see what I'm saying?
Okay, well, that doesn't apply to my situation at all, but
no, exactly.
But you like, so you're just,
but this has definitely been something that has come about.
Yes, no, but what you're saying is totally also a thing. Because if you are someone who is in a relationship, and I mean, I guess it just depends on where the relationship starts, right? Because if that's your career and that's what you've been doing is like OnlyFans or stripping or whatever, or like that is what you've built your business off of,
or not even to that extent, but even like modeling,
right? Like you've been but like you have to understand, you're going into that relationship knowing that that's the person who you're dating. If you're going into a relationship and you see that they're liking other girls' pictures, so then you go and post a hoe picture or whatever you want to call it, hoe being used in a good way, I don't give a shit, you know, like because you want attention or you're trying to make him jealous or whatever. It's just like such a toxic dynamic. I think you set your standards and boundaries in the beginning. What are you okay with? What are you not okay with? Because also, if he or she is not okay with like, no, I'm going to follow who I want, I'm going to like whoever's pictures I want, like they don't see your concerns as valid, and that's something you have to say, okay, is this acceptable for me or not. I want my concerns to be valid. And that means that they probably don't prioritize you. And if a man or a woman is really super into you, they're not going to give a shit about liking other people's photos, because you should be like the apple of their eye, in my opinion. Like, I'm not attracted to other people when I'm in a relationship, a dedicated relationship. I don't get crushes on other people. I don't have that door open. This is my person. Like, I just don't. I could see how other people be attractive, but I'm not attracted to them because I focus my attention on my partner. It's when the relationship stops being fulfilling that you start to drift.
Right. And there's definitely a big difference between recognizing someone just is physically attractive or whatever, and then having a desire to want them or a pursuit of something. That I definitely think is another line that gets very skewed. I think women and guys often neglect, your woman is going to find another guy attractive. Your man is going to find another woman attractive. We're fucking human. We recognize attractive people, right? I recognize that Ryan Reynolds is a very sexy man in the most straight way possible. He's a very attractive individual.
But when you're so secure in that too, it's fun because you can discuss with each other, oh man, that guy's really hot, or oh, that chick's really hot. Because like, even I'm like, yeah, dude, that chick is so hot. Like, I've told girls in the gym, like, wow, you are so beautiful, and like they ended up being models, and that was surprising too. It's like, wow, but like, you can share that with your partner and feel secure that like, you are still their main focus. It's not even like that person is a focus. So you're just like in the game of enjoying what is out there. I don't know.
Well, that's true. I mean, this is a conversation I've had in the past before with previous partners, because they would get insecure about some of the pictures that I would post or whatever. Like, oh, why do you have to post, you with your shirt off or modeling pictures or something like that? And it's like, I had to explain to them, it's like, it's not like I'm doing this for, a certain kind of validation or whatever. It's like, this is what I do on the side. Like, this is one of just my side gigs. I am a model. I'm a bodybuilder, powerlifter. I'm an influencer. Like, it's not like I'm doing this to be like, look at me with my shirt off. It's like, no, I'm in magazines. I've done this stuff. This is something that I pursue as a career option. There's a difference. There's money in it. There's opportunities. I'm not doing it just to be like, hey, look at my abs, motherfucker.
Well, and honestly, who gives a shit why you're doing it? Like, if you're my partner and you're posting stuff that you look good in, it's just like, whatever, that's my guy. And I should be secure enough to know it doesn't matter who the fuck comments on your stuff. Because it's like, like that, where their dedication lies also. Right. And like the same should be for like your female partner too. I think if you're both like secure in each other and what you have, it's kind of like you get a sense of, you get a sense of pride almost, like they look good. Why the fuck not? Show it off.
I can see where you're coming from with that. My only challenge to that would be, it's different if you're doing it.
There's a difference between like a thirst trap and like.
There's level of professionalism.
Yeah.
If you're doing this and this, like I said, career, you're making money, there's opportunity, whatever, that's different. If you're doing it just because you're addicted to social media and you like the validation, why are you going to continue when you're in a relationship to post those kind of things, knowing that you're opening up those doors for the eyes that are watching you, the comments on your photos, guys, slipping into the DMs? You're already opening up the doors to that level of temptation to have that one like super popular athlete or whatever slide into your DMs, and guess what? Now you're very fucking tempted to talk to him because he's a very high status man, an individual, and you're looking at your dude who's been busting his ass at Best Buy just trying to get his bachelor's degree. But that man at Best Buy loves you with his whole fucking heart and die for you, whereas the athlete just thinks you're hot and wants to fuck.
But like we talked about before, if you're someone who's already posting those things for validation, like you're not going to change just because you're getting into a relationship. Like you have to be different before you get into the relationship in order to have different attributes in the relationship. So that's one thing. Another thing is, man or woman, I don't care who you are, is programmed to upgrade. Jordan Peterson said this, I think.
Yep.
We're both programmed to upgrade.
The Rational Male, Female Hypergamy.
Yeah. And so it's like, it's not like the guy at Best Buy is a bad guy, but if anybody gets the chance to win the lotto, they're going to leave their job at McDonald's. You know what I'm saying? So it's like Leonardo DiCaprio walks into my life. whoever I'm with probably doesn't have a very good chance. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like because we are programmed to like take opportunity to upgrade. And it's, and I hope I really don't get shat on this, but like, you know, Jennifer Lopez comes to you and she's like, hey, and you're like, holy fuck, you know, like if I was with someone and someone really fucking famous came in the picture, why the fuck would I even want them to be dedicated to me? I'm like, fucking go get it. In fact, let me come. Like, you want three
Right. I don't
people?
mind being a side
Like,
bitch.
yeah, damn, dude. Like, I'll be the third. I want to fucking
Right.
go too. Take me with you. You got a friend? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, why the fuck not? You know, but that's because I'm so secure in what I'm doing and where I'm going. I know I'm gonna get up there no matter fucking what. I don't need someone to give me a leg up. And you know, like, I don't know. I just don't have that fear of like being replaced, but I don't, you know, people got to do what they got to do. I have no attachments to, at least anymore.
Well,
I've let go of all attachments of insecurity and concern, and just like, I know where I'm going. I'm dedicated to my own alignment, and I don't need to rely on somebody to be dedicated or attached to me anymore. Even if we're in a relationship, like, I'm not relying on you to be with me forever. I don't give a shit about that anymore, because you might not be in my life forever. Like, I might, you know, like,
well, I got a lot of shit on one of the videos I made that went viral way back when. I'm basically telling guys, I'm like, stop putting the woman at the center of your fucking life. Focus on your purpose and you as a human being and as a man. I'm like, y'all wonder why you get so heartbroken whenever when they fucking leave, because they realize you put them on a fucking pedestal. And there were so many guys in the comments that are like, oh, who hurt you? You don't know what love is. My woman is everything. And I'm like, it's not that I'm saying they're gonna leave you. I'm not saying, and I don't wish that on anyone. I'm not saying it's a definite they're gonna do this, but it's like, I've been on coaching calls with men whose partners literally fucking died and they don't know what to do with themselves, which is a fucking tragedy, and it breaks my heart to hear. But it doesn't even have to be a breakup or divorce. What are you gonna do, heaven forbid, if your partner just is gone from this earth in general, but
which happens eventually?
Well, exactly. You still have to be able to keep it together enough in your own life and for yourself, because especially if you have kids,
what are you going to do? Like, that's when parents fall apart and they become alcoholics and they don't know what to do with their lives. It's like, it's really sad. Like, your partner is your life partner, but they're not you, and you still have to take care of you, even during partnership.
Oh, absolutely.
Wow, this has really gone down a rabbit hole we didn't expect.
I mean, at this point, we could probably chop it up into a part 1 and part 2.
We can. It's 2 podcasts now. One got deep in relationships, and one got deep into everything.
One got deep into everything. It just went balls deep into like Western culture.
Yeah.
Jesus fuck.
Wow. Well, also you're like dressed up at like the 80s right now.
I'm not gonna lie.
You look like Ron Jeremy.
Retro fits.
Yeah, you're like very retro today.
Like, my following.
Why is your shirt so far unbuttoned?
Because
you're hella 80s right now, dude.
Okay.
Little chest hair peeking out, like.
But also because if I button this one, it like.
It's like a woman with too big of boobs. You're just popping out.
I got a fucking handful. But no, my following requested that I fucking rock the stash. So I've been rocking the stash. I've been getting complimented of the motherfucker with it. So I'm like, you know what? If I'm gonna rock the stash, I need the outfit.
Yeah.
So I got a whole bunch of new retro shirts and stuff for the summer. And I'm like, you know, I kind of fuck with it a little bit.
Killing it.
I'm not gonna lie.
Killing it. Looks good.
But you know, you're so much older than me, you know. But I'm over here the one looking like I'm fucking damn near 40.
You look 40.
I got fucking stress wrinkles on the forehead, bags underneath my eyes. You can't see the white hairs or gray hairs in my beard anymore.
You have glasses of a hipster. Those aren't even real glasses. They're blue light blocking glasses.
Fuck off.
Real glasses. You just dress like a hipster.
I gotta wear blue light glasses though, because I'm always on my goddamn phone or computer. I'm popular.
I love how I got that right away. You can tell the blue light glasses from real glasses.
Well,
what do you look like without your glasses?
If I turn my head, you can see the reflection.
Yeah. What do you look like without your glasses? Take them off for a second. You look, see, not, yeah. Now I can see the 40-year-old.
I went
You
from
went from
working
like
at
15-year-old.
I went from working at Radio Shack to license and registration.
You really did, because you also look like so much older without the glasses on. It's like you went from 15-year-old gay hipster to like, yeah, license and registration, but like in the 80s, like you're about to go dance.
Yeah, I'm about to go to the disco and screw a single mom. Like,
oh my god, that is hilarious.
I just need more tattoos.
What do you need more tattoos? Like you already have so many. I need to finish
the upper body.
Speaking of tattoos, I can't believe you fucking got your face tatted with the K. What was that all about? The king and queen shit?
Yeah, I don't want to talk about that. That was probably at my like. That was when I was almost like at my.
That's when you were in Miami too. You didn't even say anything.
Yeah. Yeah, that was when I was diving real fucking far down. I was not acting like myself. I was making rational decisions. I was visiting someone I didn't give a flying fuck about or didn't even give a shit or whatever the fuck. Like literally just doing the most irrational shit possible. See, I'm gonna get this covered up.
I'm glad you have a tattoo to remember.
No, I'm gonna get this covered up.
When I saw that, I was like, what the fuck is he doing? And who the fuck is this girl? And they really fucked up. I mean, I'm sorry, but I was like, damn, they really fucked that shit up. I didn't say anything to you, but I knew you were wounded. And I was like, I'll just wait till the proper moment, like right now. Kick you while you're up, not while you're down.
Yeah, right. Seriously. Trust me, you aren't the only one that has called me out on all that bullshit shenanigans.
Oh my god.
Yeah, we're gonna get that covered up, and then we're gonna finish out the rest of the neck, both my sleeves, and the other side of my titty.
And the other side of my titty. Why don't you just wait a little bit?
I am.
When are you gonna get it done?
When I have more money. Tattoos are not cheap.
No, they're not cheap, but why are you spending money on that right now?
I haven't gotten a tattoo in a minute.
You got that tattoo like 6 months ago.
This?
Yeah.
It was in February.
Okay, in a minute, so it's like
but
like
it was
4 months ago you got it. Oh yeah, because you went to that. Oh yeah, that's even worse. See, if you had to pay for that mistake, you wouldn't have done it. Well, because it was free.
And I had my nose pierced too, but it fell out while I was sleeping, so it healed up.
Oh god. Okay, we're done with this conversation. Oh god. Jesus Christ.
I don't know what the fuck I was doing at that time, okay?
I don't know what the fuck you're doing at any time, but I guess we're just rolling with it.
You know, you have a good point, because you've known me for a little bit now, and my life has been that.
You're so
confused.
It's been a fucking movie. Yeah. Well, stick to the people who are good influences. Damn, you totally just ghosted me for like the whole time. So rude.
I mean, if it makes you feel any better, I ghosted everybody.
That's what I'm saying, dude. You just isolated yourself and surround yourself with people who get face tattoos with you instead of the people who actually help you out. That's why you had to be kidnapped. Now change your ways. When you get down to the bottom, lean on the people who are actually going to help you.
Mm-hmm. That's actually what I didn't even have a choice but
mom talk to you.
Oh, that's your mom talk to me? I thought you said that's why my mom talked to me. I'm like, I don't talk to my mother.
No, I said that is my mom talk to you. Listen, JB. When you get down, you gotta go to the people who support you.
Oh yeah, I know. My buddy Doug was my fucking saving grace. Like, God bless that man's heart. I don't know if I'd even be here without that dude.
Good to have a friend like that.
Almost like, again, that's why I've always. I'm sure you do this too. Is like stress the importance of that guy time or having that good group of guys, or whatever, that like have your back. Like the very few friends that no matter what is like they're there. They got you.
Well, I'm glad you're out of that hole. It's a funny thing for all of us that you have a face tattoo. It's a good reminder. Maybe we should just keep it. But anyway, we have like gone through the course of this and talked for almost 2 hours. So I think we should end it here.
Yeah, like I said, it's gonna be a part 1 and 2.
I don't know how this is going to fit in the Google folder or drive, but I guess we'll make it work.
If you split it, then it'll probably be easier to send. because it is going to be a part 1 and 2. So if you split
I'll
it
do
where we
it.
ended the first time, and then how we kind of carried on, that would probably work as well.
Sounds good.
But
all right, Joe, I appreciate you.
yeah,
Good
it's a
catching
pleasure.
up after
Uh-huh.
however many months. You do seem more mature. I'll have to say that. You definitely seem like more humbled, more mature.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, life definitely fucking humbled my ass really fucking quick. So
It's better.
yeah, definitely can't complain about it. I could if I wanted to, but I'm not going to.
All right, Joe. Well, I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Right,
So
you
good
as well.
catching up. Thanks for bringing this to our attention, and onward
Yeah,
and upward.
let's do it.
All right. Talk to you later, Joe.
Yeah, take care.
Bye.